Welcome to the video walk on your Freedom Elite. First things first, bumper cap comes off, perfect spot. Store your sewer hose. Black tank flush right here, hook a hose up to it, flush out your black tank. Speaking of black tank, it's your sewer connection. That one's your gray, that one's your black. Always make sure these are closed before you take your cap off or you're not gonna have a good day. Always recommend doing your black, let that dump all the way, and then doing your gray. That'll flush out your hose for you. City water connection. If you got water, if your park has water, that's what you're gonna use. Hook your hose up to here. It'll operate off of city water pressure. If you don't have water, you can fill your onboard tank, and then you'd operate your pump to pull from your tank. Storage in here with a light, and a light for over there too. Access to that same storage over here. There's that other light. 30 amp shore cord. It's your shore cord. It's about 25-30 feet long. Cable hookup. So if you're going somewhere that provides cable, you can hook it up to here. More storage here. As well as storage underneath here. Water heater. There we go. So then you plug the water heater right here. So that would go in here when you're ready to use it. Get it threaded by hand. And then tighten it with a 15/16 socket. That's the size for this. Don't over tighten it. It is plastic threads. Then before you use it, since this is winterized, you will run water through everything until you see perfectly clear water out of every fixture. And then you can take this out of bypass. It'll start automatically filling, and then you can turn it on. I recommend draining it after every trip. You don't want water sitting in there. Stagnant water starts to get a little smelly. So before you drain it though, crack your pressure relief, the lock open, water will squirt out, everything out here is okay to get wet. Once it stops coming out, snap it closed, then you can pull your plug out. If you neglect to do that, you're gonna get a hot bath and you might end up losing this somewhere in the campground. Make sure you clean in here as well in there. You'll start noticing soot here and here if you don't clean it, and if it gets real bad enough, the flame will come up and hit this. Once it trips this, your water heater won't work anymore until that gets replaced. A little tricky to do one-handed. There we go. More storage there. Access to your generator to do any maintenance, oil changes, checking the oil, air filter. You can even start and stop the generator from out here if you need to, but the controls will be inside. Moving along. We'll go to the cab first thing when we get inside. We have more on the outside to do. Moving right along. More storage here. This one is your propane. The easiest way to tell which one is your propane access is the only one that doesn't have locks on it. Access to your propane. So on or off, just like your barbecue grill, we'll turn. So that's on. That's on. That's off. We'll leave it off for now. You have your gauge. So 3/4 is full. There has to be room for vapor, but you can come out here and check it, and there's also a way to check it inside. Furnace. One thing you have to do is keep this clean. Spider webs, bees nests, mud daubers. They make screens you can put on these. They don't recommend you run the furnace with the screens, but as far as travel or storage, it's going to keep stuff from getting in there. Fridge vent. So your intake, your exhaust is on your roof. This is just for airflow, so keep it clean. Keep it up in here clean. so the fridge gets good airflow so it can cool efficiently. Outdoor outlets, they are GFCI protected. So if they trip, all your other GFCI outlets are going to trip, and I'll show you inside where to reset those. Outdoor TV with a sound bar. See sound bar. Turn on or off here. You got volume settings. Change the channel. You can pair it your Bluetooth. It's got auxiliary in. It's got a USB port. Change different zone sides like that. And then the remotes for it are on the inside, and I'll show you on the inside. So you don't have to use the buttons on the soundbar. TV, remote inside too. This will work off your antenna or cable, depending on what you're hooked up to. More storage. And then propane quick disconnect. So if you have a portable grill that'll work out here, you can hook it up through here. It's like a quick disconnect right there. And then you'd open your valve right here and you'd be good to go. Alright. We'll move on to these controls right here. And then we'll go to the cab. So you have some light switches. This one on the far left is your main row of lights. The one in the middle does awning lights. And then the one on the end does LED lights under your steps. You have a step light that turns on or off your steps. Then you have awning right here that opens and closes your awning. Fortunately, we won't be able to get the awning all the way open, but we'll get it open enough so I can show you how to adjust it. Your awning will not function if your keys are in the ignition. That's a safety feature. You'll go until you see the flap. We won't be able to see the flap because that wall is in the way. But if you need to adjust it, grab here, big part, pull it down. Then you can have water run off to one end if it's raining. Now if it starts storming, getting high winds, roll your awning up. The wind will take it away. And if you roll it in wet, as soon as it gets dry, roll it back in. More control right there. It's your battery disconnect, so it needs to be on when you're using it. When you're storing it, you can turn it off. However, if you're having it plugged in when you're stored to keep it charged, it needs to be on or else the charge won't reach the batteries. Right below that is some jacks, passenger side, driver's side. There will be a buzzer if you try to start this when the jacks are down. So you can go. So you can see them like that. They're just in the rear, but it'll help stabilize things. So you do one side at a time. Just like that. And then the driver's side does the same thing. You're pre-wired for solar, you don't actually have the panel on the roof. That's going to be an added thing, but you can check. As for now, for this and there, you just check what voltage your battery is putting out. Speaking of batteries, under this clip you have access to your battery. That does charge when you are driving down the road, and it does charge when you are plugged in. Alright, open up the slide. So your parking brake needs to be on for your slide to work. Hold the button for extend. Make sure your chair is leaned far enough forward for it to clear when opening and closing your slide. Once it's all the way open, hold that button for an extra 5 seconds. That's going to keep the motors on each side in sync. Coming up through here, first thing, you can remove this and put it out of your way to have more headroom when driving. Got a seat down in here. Got your keys. Those are your headlights. Your dimmer switch, turn it all the way up to get brightest all the way down. Your dimmest. Shifter, windshield wiper controls, all your climate controls. Just like an old Ford box van. HDMI, that's a pass-through for your TV up in there. Your radio here, so you can select channels. See if we can't find one that's coming in clear. Hit this just to scan through your channels. So
Connect on the Express Jobs
presets right here, you just push and hold to save a preset.
More than 500,000 people find work.
Tap that, mutes.
Here's a special message from
Hit the home button. You can do all of your stuff. USB, SD card, if you have music on an SD card. Bluetooth your phone, rear camera. Hit that. You'll always have the rear camera on.
That we close the store down. I asked myself, why would any sane owner close a store down? But you have to understand, I need to make sure that I make the right decision now. And the right decision was
different zones. So that hitting zone 1 off, just gonna leave the back ones on. Hitting it, it's just gonna have the cab on. Zone 2 will turn the back off, just have the cab on. Sirius XM, so you gotta pay for the Sirius XM. Dual mirror, so you can hook your phone up through it that way. Monitor your phone through there too from the HDMI. You can go through mode also and select through it without having to go home. Pretty simple. Radio, back to the radio. You have your channels, just like before. That's pretty much it for your cab. You do have a light up in there, like a map light. We'll sneak our way back out of here. These are for your couch right here. They act as cushions. They will there's spots for them to glide in, and they'll clip in to the side right down there. If you want arm cushions for your couch, we'll leave those undone so I can demonstrate that this does turn into a bed. As well as seatbelts there, so you can't have passengers riding. And then there's storage back there too. Do have a pop-up outlet right here. Push this outer ring in, grab it, pull it up. GFCI, all your GFCIs are on the same circuit, like I said, and then you do have 2 USB ports there too. Lights, each of these lights controlled at the light itself. 2 more USB outlets. There's a little pocket. You can keep your phones there, keep them charging. You do have this right here. This is a curtain that will get draped across here, and as well as the inside of your cab to keep people from looking in on you when you're at your campground. Then you have your ladder to get to the top bunk. Your TV, you just loosen these, both of them, and then the TV will swing out, and you can adjust what angle it's at so you can watch. Access to stuff for your TV, so you have coax output. There's a little button on the side right there with the green light. Green light's on. That's your booster for your antenna. You'll need that when you're using your antenna. You can add an extra, like a Blu-ray player here, run it through that little port up there, plug it into the TV, keep it out of the way if you choose to have your own Blu-ray player. Manuals, it's going to have all your manuals in it. Plenty of storage over there. This dinette does turn into a bed. You just unfold that latch, and then you can push the whole thing down. and then rearrange your head cushions to put on there to make a bed, as well as storage on each side. We'll go back to this panel where we were. That was your slide control. This one turns your water pump on or off. Water heater on propane, water heater on electric. If you are using electric, make sure there's water in it. You can use them both at the same time. Monitoring panel, you can see how full your propane is, how much battery you have left, your fresh, your black, and then your gray. As well as starting and stopping your generator. So you just hold down stop to see that red light go on, and then you hit it up to start it. Generator started. We'll stop that for now. Back to over here, stovetop, very simple. Flip it over, acts as a little backsplash. Turn it on to the flame, turn your sparker, ignites the burner. You can do them all. The nice thing about these ones is your pilot underneath there can get lit from your sparker. So you turn this to pilot, this little flame, push and hold, then you turn your sparker until that pilot in there is lit. This right here is a light. There's the lights on the knob as well as the light in the oven. Microwave, just like your regular household microwave, is only going to work if you're plugged in or running off of your generator. Sink, not a whole heck of a lot to explain about that. You do have a folding fixture here. Little extender, lift it up, folds it. When you're ready to close it, lift it up and push these back and it'll lock. You do have an outlet, another GFCI outlet underneath there. Your fridge, open the freezer door, have your controls for your fridge on or off, auto or gas. That's gas. All the way flush is auto. Just definitely recommend leaving on auto. It defaults to 110. If you would ever lose power at the campground and your propane would be on, it will switch to running off of propane automatically for you. Keep your food fresh. However, these do take about 10 to 12 hours to get to operating temperature. So I always recommend, if you can, plug it in at home and then run it off your generator or propane when you're driving down the road to keep it cool to get wherever you're going. Breaker box. All your 120 volt breakers, all your 12 volt fuses. So you got a couple assortment of fuses. I would pick up an assorted case of fuses just to have with you, just in case. This bed, after your slide out's open, you gotta fold it open. You do have light switch in here. That side of the bed has 2 USB ports. There's 2 more of those clicky lights there. USB ports there, 12 volt outlet, another GFCI outlet. Here, a spot to mount another TV with a plug, cable outlet, and HDMI. You have HDMI switch box. That was over here. So you could theoretically plug your input into this, have one DVD or Blu-ray player running 3 different TVs, just one at a time. That way you don't have to buy a different player for each TV. Controls for your HVAC system. So, cool. Turns your AC on. Your fan mode's auto, high or low. On, high or low. I recommend auto. That's going to allow it to cycle on and off at the set temperature. Keep it from freezing up on you. Same deal with your heat for your furnace. That'll go all the way up to 90. The furnace kicks on. And then if you have it on fan, that's going to run your AC but without the compressor. So it'll just cycle air through the system. Keep air ventilated through here. Bathroom. Switch on the left controls your fan there. On the right is your power for the lights. Got a little knob, turn the fan, open the vent, and close the vent. Shower, pretty simple. Removable shower head. Looks right up there. And then your shower door just swings closed, magnets close, and you can open it like that. Toilet, very simple. As long as you're pushing that pedal right here, toilet's gonna be flushing. Resettable GFI. So if any of those GFIs were to trip, that's where you reset it at. And then here's all your remotes. So these are the remotes for your HDMI switch box. Here's your remote for your radio. That controls that radio up there. And then your remote for your TVs. Either one will work for either TV. Alright, and that concludes your video tour on your Freedom Elite.